Hello, sisters. This is Janita D'Souza, your feminine lifestylist. And today I have invited a spiritual sister with me today to talk about one of her journeys of following through her spiritual guidance and bringing the goddess into the mainstream of us women, especially in London. So, joining us today is Sameena Ali, and she is the founder of Awakening the Goddess Festival. And the reason I am inviting Sameena is, first of all, her festival is coming up once again this year, next month. And secondly, really wanted you to get to know about Sameena's story of how this birthing came into being, how this idea came into conception, and what it really takes to follow your desires. As you must have read from my previous post, I was talking about dare to desire, and for me, she is one of these women who dares to desire and follow through and just moving forward. So, Sameena, welcome.
Hi, Janita.
I must say that I attended the Awaken the Goddess Festival last year, and I was so happy to see that someone finally is doing something like this in London. And why wasn't it happening at all? It was such a beautiful day. So, Sameena, share with us what made you think about something like this for women and bringing the goddess out into the mainstream.
Okay, well, it happened really quickly, but at the same time, it's a bit of a long story. So back in 2016, the beginning of 2016, I had started doing a course called the Abundant Goddess Program. And on that, I was learning a lot of tools and a lot of new things that were, let's say, unfamiliar. So some of them, they were a bit too much for me, but then there were other things that really resonated with me. So I grew up in a culture where you don't really believe in past lives, but the past lives module I found really phenomenal and life-changing for me. So I think it doesn't really matter if you believe in past lives, or if you think that maybe you're just seeing archetypes, or if you're just tapping into someone else's memories or your ancestors' memories or your own past lives. Whatever it is, it has an impact. And what I saw time and time again was that actually women were really powerful. They had a lot of abilities to heal. They had a lot of innate wisdom, and they just knew it. It was just taken for granted that all women were like this. But then what I also saw was that systematically the patriarchy sort of took hold, and it really stripped women of their powers. And not only that, what made it worse is that it kind of taught women to turn against each other. So this whole that sisterhood that you're talking about, we've got a lot of stereotypes about women being bitchy, and I hear women nowadays saying, not nowadays, growing up saying, oh, you don't want to work in a place where there's too many women because it can be too and that's the complete opposite of how I feel, because actually women are so supportive and so nurturing when they're allowed to be women. But when the patriarchy takes hold and starts controlling women and what they do and how they think, it's these sorts of things that start changing the way women behave towards each other. And I can really see, and I'm sure you agree, that things are changing. The tide is turning. Women are not bitching about each other. They're not doing these things anymore. They're supporting each other. And so basically what happened was I was sitting in my living room one day, and I was just sort of quite angry with the patriarchy of the world in general. In lots of ways, we think that we've come so far, but in so many ways we really haven't. And all of a sudden this idea of Awaken the Goddess came in my mind, and everything just went completely silent. So I couldn't hear the cars outside. I couldn't hear the birds singing outside anymore. I normally have like a slight ringing in my ears. Even that went completely silent, and it was just nothing. It was just me and this idea. And that was it. That was all that existed in the universe at that time. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is really important. And actually, even saying that now, I'm getting a bit of a shiver. And so I said sort of to the universe, just, okay, I got the message. And then everything just went back to normal. So I sat on that idea actually for a little while because it was really scary, and I was thinking, where do I even begin? I don't have an event planning background. I've got a full-time job. I have quite a full life. How am I going to fit in doing something like this? But there was something constantly there in the back of my mind saying, just do it, just take the next step, just take the next step, just keep going. So it was all these small steps I took until, it was, and I actually, it took me a year. So I started, I think, planning it in June 2016, and the festival was in July 2017.
Wow.
So it was a long process, and it was constant work the whole time. It was work. But I kept going, and it wasn't me. I don't know how to describe it to you, Janita, but it was like something outside of me was just making this happen. And I can't tell you how many times I just wanted to just run underneath my duvet and just hide there and not come out and just say, no, I'm refunding everyone their money. I don't want to do this. And even, 2 days before the event, when I knew that, okay, it's coming, even then, when you have, I don't know if you ever go on roller coasters, but when you there's something called the detonator, I think, at Thorpe Park, and it takes you all the way up, and then you get there and you're going to drop, and you can't do anything about it. You can't escape once you're up there. It felt like that, this sort of oh my God, I don't know how it's going to go. I've never done anything like this before. Will the women enjoy it? Will everyone turn up? What's going to happen? Is it going to be a disaster at the venue? All these things. And when the day actually came, if I'm perfectly honest, I could not judge at all what was happening. But then so many people were telling me afterwards, that, and also I couldn't judge what I wanted it to be, because I wanted it to be a day of where women come and they feel empowered, where they get to meet lots of other women doing the things and the sort of activities that they could take part in that would help them on their path, help them to start feeling that actually I'm a woman and that means something and I'm powerful. And, the menstrual cycle that we have, which we kind of think is a burden, is actually this powerful thing that we have every month that guides us, that sort of gives us this natural ebb and flow and natural progression throughout the month and throughout our lives. And I'm thinking, did it achieve that? Did it achieve that? And then people, like, even when we were speaking a couple of months ago, and I was saying to you then, I'm not sure whether it achieved that. And you said it to me. So it's every time I have a conversation with someone or an attendee sends me an email, and then every time I think, okay, you know what, it's doing what it's supposed to do, and it is worth it, all the work is worth it. So
yeah.
That was a very, very long answer to your very short question.
It's quite true, and I must say I was speaking to many women as well, and they said the same to me. And I had brought along with me a couple of ladies who were my friends but have not been into this topic at all. Like it was totally new for them, and I really wanted to pull them in and give them like an intro to this. And they left feeling really, really excited. And since then, I think, so for them, it was the beginning of their spiritual inquiry, like their spiritual journey, pretty much, of inquiring what they are, who they are, what they should do, what changes they should make, or what they should do next. But that was the catalyst for them. So your work is important. I also realized that for for the women watching, we haven't actually told them what is Awaken the Goddess Festival.
We haven't. Sorry, Alex. Okay. Yeah. No. God. Sorry. It's just that's really touched me actually, because there's so many times even now, because it is really hard to organise it. It's a big thing where I question whether I should, like I've already said, and every time someone says something to me like that, it really gets me. Like this is really important work, and it is hard and it's a struggle, but it's so worth it if stuff like that is happening. Every time you turn on that little flame in a woman, it means so much. So yeah, Awaken the Goddess Festival is a day of talks, of workshops. There are loads of stalls there. So it's a chance for women to come to experience lots of different things, lots of different modalities of healing, tools, meeting women who are doing the kinds of things that can help them in their lives, and gaining the inspiration and the sort of awareness that actually as women we're powerful because we're women, not in spite of being women. You know, our femininity is what makes us powerful. You know, that inner spark is the thing that really makes us what we are. And it's the feminine side. You know, we all have that feminine and the masculine, but it's the feminine side that's that massive powerhouse that we all have within us that lots of us are really disconnected from. So it starts with a really nice opening ceremony, so that kind of sets the tone for the day. And this year it's going to be amazing. And you're dancing again this year, aren't you?
I am not sure yet.
Oh, no, you have to.
I am not sure yet, but I would love to. I'm a bit uncertain, but I want to.
Okay, well, we'll see. But yeah, it's a really beautiful experience, you know. So we'll invoke the goddess now, and the goddess can mean different things to different people. To some people, they think of it as an actual entity. To me, it's an energy. It's like a sort of, the divine feminine is an energy that exists everywhere that we can all tap into, men and women. To some people, the goddess means their inner goddess, you know, themselves, their higher self. So whatever it is to you, we're invoking that, and then we're setting the tone. There are some lovely performances. There'll be a beautiful meditation where we call in the goddess, and then after that you just go, you choose the workshops that you want to go to. In your breaks between the workshops, you get to go and meet all the stall holders. There are some really, really good stall holders there this year, you know.
Yeah,
oh my God, I'm just so excited about that. And yeah, it's
I must tell you, my highlight last year was this amazing vegan cakes. Oh my goodness, they were so heavenly. And I remember that every woman passing that aisle pretty much like just stopped there, and they didn't move for a really long time, and no one was buying because they didn't want to disrupt the pattern. It looked so beautiful. And everybody was like, I know, but yeah, it was my highlight.
yeah. Well, they'll be there again this year, so you'll be happy to know. Yeah, that's actually Vegan Sweet Tooth London, and yeah, he'll be coming again. So.
Yum.
I actually didn't get a chance to have a cake because it all ran out. It went really quickly.
I know. I was one of the last ones too after all the workshops. I was like, oh my God, enough of watching, time to eat. So Sameena, share with us, how did you bring along this idea? You said that you face a lot of hiccups and challenges, and I want you to really dig in and share with the women watching who also have some big ideas and big desires to bring forth, but are scared to even take the first step because they don't know the how. So,
Yeah.
So what was your feeling, and what made you, keep going?
Well, for me, it was so easy, but at the same time so hard, because like I say, it wasn't coming from within me. I've had so many ideas to do things in the past, sort of maybe to create a business that's in line with my own desires and my own beliefs rather than having a day job. But I've never followed through on any of them just because they feel too big, just like this festival felt too big.
Yeah.
But it was easy because it was something outside of me just forcing me. You have to do it. You have to take the next step. But what I would say to all women is that whatever you want to do and whatever you want to achieve, it is possible, no matter how big it seems or how impossible it seems. It's possible if you take consistent effort every single day. So you ask yourself every day, what I'm doing today or what I'm doing right now, is that taking me one step closer to where I need to go? And if it's not, then cut it out and do what is. So you just... And it doesn't have to be every day. It's an exaggeration because sometimes life gets in the way. But consistently, you need to be asking yourself at least 2 or 3 times a week, am I moving towards it? What have I done? What step have I taken. And I'm telling everyone, it's completely impossible that you take the steps towards your desire on a consistent basis and you don't get that. It cannot happen. If you, I'm sorry, I have to say again, if you take consistent steps on a regular basis to get to where you need to go, it's impossible that you'll fail. You will not fail. You will not fail. You will not fail. And that's all I'll say. It doesn't matter how big you think it is. You can do it. Have faith that you can do it. Just take the steps. For me, with Awaken the Goddess, it was just about, I remember the first thing I did was try to create the website. No, I started speaking to people first, I think, and then I created the website, and I would be up until like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'd normally go to bed at 10 o'clock, you know, because I need my sleep, but I'd be up because I had that thing that I could do it, you know. And I'm not saying you have to do that, because you shouldn't. Your health is more important than that, but you just choose one step, you do it. You choose the next step and you do it. You know, you just go, just small steps. And what I find is actually really good on a practical level is to write it down, have your plan of action. Because let's say you're doing, like with Awaken the Goddess was a big project. And what I did at the beginning was I wrote down all the major steps and the major milestones. Okay, when does the website need to be done by? When do all the talks need to be planned by? When do all the stalls need to be in by? You know, when do I need to start promoting? When do the leaflets need to be distributed? When are the key things where, you know, the areas where I can promote? And I wrote it all down so that even when I was going through the things that, you know, it just feels like, oh, it's too much, I don't know what to do, because you do suffer from paralysis. It's overwhelming. But you've got your blueprint there that you then refer to and you look at it. So no matter what it is, you know, you want to start a business, you want to start delivering workshops, you've got your ideas, write them down. You create your plan, you write it down. Don't keep it up here, get it down there. Because when you're suffering from things like, oh, this is too much, this is overwhelming, you've got your own words written there and you've got your own plan there to follow. You'll get divine guidance.
And how about support? Did you ask for support for ideas, inspiration, guidance?
From the universe or from my friends?
Everywhere. You know, this is the thing that I like to say to women, that there is support available. You know, you don't have to do it by yourself and figure out everything by yourself as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I did. I've changed my job recently, actually, but in my previous job, I was really lucky that I was working with some of my best friends, or my best friend. And so I've got my husband, who's amazing. He's amazing support to me. Like, he helps me with so many things with Awaken the Goddess. He helps me with the videos, the publicity and everything like this. And I couldn't do it without him. Well, I could, anyone can do anything. I could do it without him, but I wouldn't want to, because, you know, he's my life partner and his help is invaluable for me. But I had people around me on a daily basis. So I had him when I was at home, and when I was at work, I had, you know, my best friend there, and he like supported me throughout everything. You know, just listening to all the, you know, like the word vomit that comes out when you're just worried about things and you just need to talk, you know. So, and then, yeah, I had my friends, I had my family, like all the people who came and helped me on the day, they were all my friends, and you know, some members of my family came all the way from Wales to help me on the day, you know. So I had people to support me. And that's the thing, that they might not have, with the exception of my husband, they might not have been doing the practical work to help me to do things, but they gave me the emotional support that I needed. And, you know, like leafleting outside the Mind Body Spirit Festival, help me with that, you know. These are things that you know, like I was so, on the day of Awaken the Goddess, I was so overwhelmed with sort of awe of my friends, that they just came and they gave their time for free. Like, it was a heavy shift, 8 o'clock until 7:30, you know, in the evening. It was a long day, and they just did that for me, and I was just walking around like a zombie thinking, oh, I'm so lucky. And you know, you don't need a lot of friends, just a few good ones is all you need, you know, a few good support people you need.
That's true. I like to say this as well, mostly when you have big ideas, emotional support is sometimes much more important than the real physical support, because that gets you, you know, override your own sabotaging beliefs pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a next question. So with this Awaken the Goddess Festival, what was your biggest aha once the
My biggest
project was finished?
when it was finished after the day.
Mm-hmm. That was your
So,
biggest aha.
I guess the biggest one was I was thinking to myself, I'm never doing that again. That was so hard. But then people were emailing me afterwards and saying that it was a really beautiful day and they really got something out of it. And that was like, okay, so it did mean something to people. It wasn't just a really stressful day that felt like a shambles to me because, obviously I know all the things that were going wrong on the day. The venue couldn't find the mic in the opening ceremony.
I
They couldn't
remember
find
that.
there was a complete mess. There was a party the night before. There were drinks all over the floor and the tables, all these things. And I thought, oh God, I can never go through that again. But as soon as women started saying those things to me, and unsolicited as well, I thought, okay, people do need this. It's not just something, when you come up with something in your mind, you don't know whether there's an audience for it. You don't know whether it will mean something to people. And when I found out that it did, that was my aha moment where I thought, okay. And even now, my husband, sometimes I say to him, not so much now because we're only 6 weeks away, but in sort of the run up, I was saying, I don't know if I can do it again. It's really hard. And he was saying to me, just get on with it. You're here to do something, you're here to birth something into the world and you've got this mission and you just need to do it. Those aren't his exact words. He actually says it much more eloquently than that, but it's just not coming to my mind at the moment. But yeah, he reminds me of all the things that people say, So yeah, it's that.
Yeah, and many times when we have these big desires, it's something more about, just not about ourselves. It's more about how we contribute to all of this, consciousness that is raising in this
Yeah.
planet, and that's what you are called as well. So, sister, there is no backing up. I'm afraid. And I get you because this is how I feel every time before my retreats or my workshop as well. Like, no, I can't do it. But you go there and you're in your element and it's done.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So thank you so much, Sameena, for sharing the real deal behind the scenes of Awaken the Goddess Festival and how it came into existence. And I'm so looking forward to this year. I'm sure it's going to be even better and amazing than last year. And we're going to all have so much fun. And I'm looking forward to give my workshop there as well about womb awakening. And yeah, do you have anything else to say in closing?
No, just thank you. I've never done this. I mean, people do ask me like, why did you do it? Why did you? But it's always on a one-to-one basis. So I've never actually done this where it's like, okay, like, tell me right now. So
Yes,
I might
tell me the truth.
just everything it's all there bubbling away all the time, and sometimes I don't know how to articulate it, but it's just something that I feel so passionately in my bones. I know it has to happen. Women have to just light up and change the world.
Thank you so much, Sameena, for your time.